and salvation, okay? Salvation is the most important thing that we must focus on. And the thing which irritates Judaism about Christianity is that you kind of like focus on the anthropomorphization of salvation, and you forget that the most important thing is salvation itself. So you will find throughout Jewish liturgy plenty of references to Yeshua. There are so many references to Yeshua all the time. Yeshua, Yeshua, Yeshua. We have to say this. We have to pray for Yeshua all the time. 3 times a day we do the Amidah, and we mention the salvation as the Messiah in that all the time. We say Yeshua as the Messiah in this prayer all the time. But for us, the Yeshua Messiah is the essence of Adam Kadmon. It is Yesod. It is Sadikut. It is the aspect of Adam Kadmon which we can see, which walks with us, which talked with Moses, that appeared to Elijah. He's throughout the Bible. You see references to him all the time, and he is the essence. This is Yeshua. Now, for Christians to forget that this is Yeshua, this is salvation, because you find Christians are like, oh, really? I didn't realize that was Jesus all the way through. And to forget that it's not the word Jesus, perhaps you should use the word in English, Yeshua, or you should use the word salvation to refer to him. Because if you refer to him as salvation, you won't forget the essence that he is, the being, the ontological being that he is in essence. If you use the name Jesus, you might forget that it's what he is in essence, what he is ontologically, and you might start thinking about him as just a kind of bloke. And you'll find plenty of Christians who regard Jesus as some kind of bloke, some kind of buddy, some kind of human who is just their best friend, their buddy, and a friendly, nice sort of brotherly figure, fatherly figure, friend, or something like that. And they have completely lost the point that he is actually the abstract concept of salvation. He is salvation itself in a human form, in a physical form, but he is salvation itself. And if you're ever going to talk about salvation, all you're ever talking about is him. If anybody in any language around the world talks about salvation, they are talking about him. That's the way Jews would see this. They're talking about salvation. Salvation is the point. The point is salvation. But when a Christian talks about Jesus, it's not always very clear that they're talking about the concept of salvation in physical form. It's more like they're talking about some guy who it's not really clear exactly what they talk about. Sometimes it becomes very convoluted and difficult to understand what Christians are talking about. But if we understand him as Yesod, okay, and say, well, look, Yesod is salvation, Yesod is Sadikut, Yesod is the essence of Hashem, the essence of the name, the essence of this name that you can see in front of you, the essence of the image of God, then the essence of the image of God makes perfect sense. And he would say, and the disciples of Jesus were given his body. He gave himself to his disciples. He gave up his body for his disciples, and then says, "I no longer call you." He says, "You are my friends, not my disciples." And he, in another place in the book of Hebrews, he's referred to as our brother. He's our brother. So we become his siblings. And how is that possible? Well, because we share in his body. If we share in the body of the essence, then we are all brothers, and we are all children of Adam Kadmon, children of the image of God. In other words, the image of God, which Ha-Adam, our physical flesh and blood ancestor, forfeited, gave up when he fell from grace, when he rebelled, when he committed the act of rebellion. We regain that image of God, and we become again children of God. By regaining that image, by sharing in the essence of salvation. If you share in the essence of salvation, you become one of the brothers and sisters of the brotherhood of salvation. The brotherhood of salvation, whose head, of course, is Yeshua Salvation, Jesus of Nazareth, because he gave his whole body to his disciples, right? If Jesus of Nazareth is Yeshua Salvation, then he says he gave, this is my body which I'm giving up to you, before the crucifixion even happens. The crucifixion is just like crossing the crossing the T and dotting the I. In fact, it's crossing the T, isn't it? It's crossing the T, meaning it's just making it clear and making the final sign that, by the way, just look, I can't die. People can kill me, but I come back to life again. It's like that Captain Scarlet in the 1960s, 1970s. They smash him and he returns. You can't destroy this guy. And by looking at how they tried to destroy him, they whipped him to death and crucified him. But no, death has no power over him. And since he is the head of the body, we should be inspired by that, to not be afraid of physical death when we stand for the way, the truth, and the life. Because if we do stand for life, okay, then we become, and if we receive him through the practice of Havdalah, receiving his body, receiving the essence, which is what we do in Havdalah. We receive Yesod. Okay, if we receive the Yesod, we become the extension of his body. Okay, and this flesh and blood counts for nothing. He says to us himself, the flesh and blood counts for nothing. Yeah, what I'm giving you here is essence. And if we receive that essence, then our flesh and blood counts for nothing. And we are returned to the image of God. We were reconciled with the image of God. We were reconciled with this name, Hashem here, Adam Kadmon. We are reconciled with the Son of God, who is one, and we have a place in his body. We become his essence as well. We become the extension of his essence. The essence is given to us. So we become vehicles. That's a good word. We become vehicles for his essence. If you become a vehicle for his essence, then it doesn't matter if the vehicle gets smashed, you just get a new vehicle. All right? The vehicle is just something which carries his essence. And if you open yourself up to receive his essence and become a vehicle for his essence, then you should have no fear over the death of the body. It's just a vehicle. Let it die. You'll receive a new vehicle because his essence is immortal. And he gave that to you. That is his true body. In other words, he gave himself to you. He gave Adam Kadmon to you. He gave you the right to be children of God by his name, by the power of his name. He gave you the right to be children of God. The name